Welcome, everyone. We're about to get started. I just want to say, who was here last night for the CIP talks? I just want to say again, our speakers were dynamic. I appreciate them being able to be vulnerable and tell their story. That was totally different from us. Last year, we were able to Zoom into the institution with the help of Linnell Wainwright with Richland Correction and see the families have a meal together with their incarcerated parent. So to be able to bring to light the CIP Talk series with our dynamic speakers, I was grateful for that. So thank you. And can we give them a round of applause? So good morning. Welcome to the second annual Ohio Children of Incarcerated Parents Summit. Our theme this year is cultivating strong families and community connections, sowing seeds to harvest hope. My name is Shemaine Armour, Community Prevention Administrator with the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services. I bring greetings on behalf of my director, Leanne Corn. As an organization that values the well-being of all individuals, it is crucial for us to address the challenges faced by children with incarcerated parents. We know that children in the United States who experience parental incarceration are statistically more likely than any other group to one day come into conflict with the law themselves. We know this is due to the combination of stress and trauma. Additionally, these children are impacted in other ways and often experience challenges such as poverty, unstable home environments, family members who may be homeless, have mental health issues, or struggle with addiction. As responsible Ohioans, we have a duty to support these vulnerable children and provide their families with the necessary resources and assistance. The Ohio Children of Incarcerated Parents Initiative is dedicated to justice-involved individuals, as well as helping children and families cope with their situation and navigate through these difficult times. By offering services and supports within communities and institutions, this creates a safe space for the parents and the children to express their feelings. Through this collaboration with the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections, we can continue to make a significant impact on their lives and well-being. It is crucial that we continue to have summits like this to build knowledge, skills, and abilities, and provide resources for communities to have the power to make a positive difference. The Ohio CIP initiative not only provides immediate benefits to the incarcerated parents and their children, but it also promotes healthy family reintegration, improves quality of family relationships, and provides opportunities for positive youth development. I believe the efforts in this area can contribute towards creating a more compassionate and inclusive communities where every individual, regardless of their circumstance, is cared for and supported. Together, we can make a positive difference in the lives of these children and the incarcerated parent, so they can receive the assistance they deserve to create stronger, healthier communities across Ohio. Please take this time to immerse yourself in today's summit. From our keynote speaker to our workshop presenters, always take the time to network and connect with someone new. Now, I have the honor and privilege in introducing Edward Banks, Assistant Director with the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction. Edward Banks has over 29 years of correctional experience with the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections. Beginning his career as a correctional officer in 1994, prior to his current role of Assistant Director in January of 2023, Banks held several correctional leadership positions, to include Security Supervisor, Correctional Major, Deputy Warden, and Warden of 2 separate adult facilities. The Deputy Director of Human Resources and Regional Director. Edward received his Bachelor's of Science degree in Correctional Administration and Management from Bellevue University. Banks currently serves as Vice Chair of the ACA Policy and Resolution Committee, and previously served as the President of Ohio Wardens and Superintendents Association. and held office with the North American Association of Wardens and Superintendents. Outside of ODRC, Ed serves as the member of the Harrison Hills City Schools District School Board and elder at the First Church of Christ in Galdice, Ohio. Please let's welcome Mr. Edward Banks.
Good morning. If you remember anything from that introduction, just remember I'm a servant of God. That's all. Well, it is a good morning. I am honored to be able to speak to you today, bring the warmest greetings from our director, Annette Chambers-Smith. Director Chambers-Smith was originally scheduled to be out of state this week in Washington, D.C., doing some work for the agency. However, if you've seen the news, it's been a horrific week at DRC as we lost one of our DRC family members laid to rest on Monday. We decided that I would still come over today. I wanted to allow the director to have that time. So continue to keep our agency, our director, the Southern High Correctional Facility in your thoughts and prayers. I want to start this morning, I think, expressing some gratitude. Gratitude to those that put the work together to bring this summit together today. Special thank you to the High Department of Mental Health and Addictive Services under the leadership of Director Cornyn. I was hoping she'd be here today, but I understand she is traveling today. But I hope she was here because I've never had the opportunity to publicly thank her. I have a personal connection to your director. Many probably do not know. But in September of 22, when I was asked to take this position as the assistant director, Director Chambers-Smith said I had to meet with the then Director of Cabinet Affairs, Director Cornyn. So I had to meet with her prior to accepting the role. The director's recommendation, Director Cornyn co-signed that. I might be biased, but I think it was probably one of the easiest decisions she had to make by placing me in this role. So I appreciate everything that she does, and please extend to her my public appreciation. And then, of course, my man, Dennis Baker, my DRC alumni, Brother Baker, now the CEO of the Mansfield Urban Minority Alcoholism and Drug Abuse Outreach Program. You see, typically I don't use notes when I'm speaking, but the title of your organization was so long, I had to write it down, Mr. Baker. But thank you. Thank you for seeing a need and taking action. I think that today is a testament to a long career of commitment to change. And sir, I just want to also thank you and thank all the DRC alumni in the house today. I got to speak to several of you as well as our current DRC family, so thank you. I think anyone that knows my director, if I could speak on her behalf for a minute, I think you know that she understands the impact that healthy families can have on incarcerated loved ones and their children. Knowing the director as I do, I know that the lens that she views this is very personal. She leads this agency in a way that she has compassion. She has a heart of service for all the men and women that are in our care. She often quotes Governor DeWine, who says that we have an obligation, that every Ohioan has the ability to reach their God-given potential. And I think that's what drives not only the director, but our agency. I think we all know that Governor DeWine has a strong focus on family. And I think that today is a big step in that progress of ensuring that everybody is able to reach their God-given potential. I think events like today help us all to align together to reach that goal. I was encouraged by the theme of sowing seeds to harvest hope. I think DRC knows that aligns right with the values we're doing. I think it's encouraging for me that we all have the same goal in mind. That we are all striving for the same thing. We have a value that says one team, one purpose. I think that today is testament to that as well. But it's important that we don't operate in a silo at DRC, that we work with all organizations around the state to help reduce barriers that families face when they have someone incarcerated. We work to instill hope in all those that we come in contact with. I think, speaking of that, I would be remiss if I didn't recognize all the men and women here today that have lived experience. I saw several folks on the agenda today for this summit. I think that you folks are using your lives as an example to reduce the impact of incarceration on other families, and that provides hope. And I think for all of us, as we say at DRC, hope must be job one. It has to be job one for all of us. If you don't know, it said I'm an elder at my church. Sometimes I have to fill the pulpit. So I think it's appropriate for me to say that I'm probably preaching to the choir right now, right? I'm preaching to the choir when I tell you that children who have a parent incarcerated face tremendous challenges. Parental incarceration is recognized as an adverse childhood experience. For us at DRC, it's important that we do all we can to reduce trauma. That's our children experience when they have an incarcerated parent. We do that while maintaining safety and security of our 28 facilities across Ohio. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to join the director at our training academy. Every 2 weeks, the director and I and our chief of staff go to the training academy to speak with all of the new hires coming into our agency. It's a commitment. It's a half-day commitment that every 2 weeks, I will tell you from experience, if you try to schedule over that on the director's calendar, it will not go well for you. But we go down there to deliver firsthand the mission, vision, and values of our agencies, that everybody coming into our department understands the mission that they've signed up for. Part of that presentation, embedded in that presentation, I thought about this yesterday while I was sitting there. There was a video that came up, and I thought about today as I was watching this video. The video is filmed at the Corrections Reception Center. They actually walk through the entry, the visiting room, and the camera zooms in on different people's faces. The front entry officer, and then above each face, it has a bubble or a comment about what that person was dealing with that day. And it just adds a human element to the work that we do. There are stories, you see the deputy warden coming in who spent the whole morning with a flooded basement. You see an officer leaving to go watch his son pitch his last high school baseball game. The camera goes into the visiting room and you see an incarcerated adult who just received 5 years at the parole board, sitting beside a loved one who was just diagnosed with cancer. In a visiting room that's being monitored by an officer who had a son deployed in Iraq. And it says everyone has a story. And as I look over this room, I can see that I can imagine some of the bubbles that would be over your head. I can imagine the bubble that's over my head as I sat here texting my daughter, who is 4 hours away, dealing with an injury from volleyball and just wondering if she's going to get cleared. We all have a story, and at times, we all need grace. We all need grace. But the thing about that video, is it ends by saying everyone has a story, and then it says, are you listening? And I come today with confidence that Director Chambers-Smith would say, yeah, we're listening. Yes, we are listening. But we're not just going to say that. There's a couple things that I think a lot of you may have seen over the past 5 years. Our investment in our Family Advisory Council. I'm really excited about what Ronnie and her team has partnered with the Adult Parole Authority with these community family forums where they bring members of the community together, in my opinion, to add a face to what really happens within our facilities. Countless family engagement events in our institutions. We're preparing for a big motherhood summit at Northeast Reintegration Center. We have a fatherhood summit in preparation at Pickaway. And if you haven't seen the pictures or heard the stories from the countless father-daughter dances, mother-child events that are happening throughout DRC, I've been there personally to see the impact of those, where these visiting rooms get transformed. I remember standing at the visiting room at the Belmont Correctional Institution when a child walked through the door typically seeing a pretty vanilla visiting room, but it's all decorated like a carnival, and the child just stopped, like almost in tears and in joy, running to her father. To me, that is what we're talking about when we say, are you listening? Yes, we are listening. As we renovated our visiting spaces to include the governor's initiative of the Dolly Parton Imagination Libraries to address the educational needs of the children, to impact and influence their reading. We enhanced our creating lasting family connections inside of our facilities. And I could go on, but I don't want to steal the presentation that's going to take place this morning. I believe it's at 11 o'clock where the team is going to talk about DRC inside and out. But I know that looking at your agenda that this summit will provide a lot of information that will assist you in serving the incarcerated and their families. I've thought a lot about this summit over the past few weeks. Last Sunday, I was at our small group at church, and it just so happens we were in Proverbs 22, where it says that started children off on the way they should go, and even when they're old, they will not turn from it. And I remember sitting there saying, man, we all have that obligation. We all have an obligation to invest in our children, not just those that are represented here, but all over Ohio. That we've challenged, I know we've challenged the members of our church to get out and impact a life. And that's my challenge today. And I'll tell you that I'm always encouraged by events like this, but I also get concerned a little bit. And as you can see, I like to use my church experience a lot. I'll leave you with one story. I was leaving church one Sunday, and I had told the pastor, I said, I didn't get a chance to talk to you last week, but I wanted to tell you, man, was that message. The message you gave last week was so powerful. My pastor didn't let go of my hand. He said, well, thanks, Eddie. They call me Eddie back home. He said, well, thanks, Eddie. He said, but I got a question for you. With that powerful message, what did you do differently this past week? When I come to conferences like this, I know that we get on fire and we get encouraged. But I would just challenge you for the next day or so as you're here, that you keep asking yourself, what am I going to do different based on the information that I received today? And in closing, I just want to tell you, every morning a group of DRC gathers in a virtual environment, what we call daily prayer call. It's not part of the workday, it's before the workday. And I just paused this morning praying for each and every one of you in this room that this summit will light a fire, that when you leave here, that you will step out and do what you can to ensure every Ohioan is able to reach their God-given potential. Thank you.
Thank you. Please give Director Chambers-Smith our respects and greetings. Thank you for your support, and especially with our initiative of Children of Incarcerated Parents. We really appreciate this collaboration. Next, because we're a little off time, but when you get someone who is, who loves to speak from the heart, we enjoy that, we respect that, and we appreciate that. So we're going to do a quick overview, and then we will hear from our keynote. I will be remiss if I did not pay respects to Mr. Dennis Baker. Would you stand, Mr. Dennis Baker? We run everything, at the state, we like to run things through the community so they can last, so they can stay grounded in the community. So we really appreciate your support in making sure that this program is always being seen. So thank you for that, Mr. Baker. Next, I'll move on to our executive committee. This executive committee, I might be a little biased, but they are top-notch. They are vital to this initiative. Each and every one of them play a critical role in ensuring success. We have been together on this journey from training facilitators across the state in an evidence-based curriculum, building and establishing a growing partnership with the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections, and equipping our facilitators and grassroots organizations with sound evaluation procedures to ensure clear standards and practices, as well as providing training and technical assistance. So I truly appreciate the Ohio CIP Executive Committee. So, where we started and where we're going. We have seen so many changes in the last 10 years. Just to highlight a few of our new components. We started a facilitators alumni group, which they wanted to get together after and talk about lessons learned, share their ideas. So that is really something that we appreciate from the facilitators. They wanted to do it and we made it happen. We have a CIP spotlight session if you participated in our learning community of practice, and we have some grantees here today and some previous grantees. That's another component that we added. Also, we want to highlight that our expansion into several other ODRC facilities. We are excited about this process and to see the growth. And next year, this is really big for us, we'll be celebrating 10 years of doing this work, and I truly appreciate each and every one of you for that. I want to share this short video from last year. The Children of Incarcerated Parents Initiative started in 2015 under the previous governor. We had about $1 million to invest in a evidence-based prevention intervention, and we selected creating lasting family connections. This particular curriculum has 3 components. It has a parenthood component, which touches on mothers and fathers, a youth component, and a marriage and partner component. And also with that $1 million investment, we invested in evaluation to work with Ohio University to make sure that we were using the best practices to entrench this curriculum throughout the state of Ohio.
Over 200 organizations have been trained across the state of Ohio. And we have facilitators who now implement the Creating Lasting Family Connections curriculum.
I spent many years working for the Ohio Correctional System. I was a warden there, and I've seen the need for such a program, but most of the attempts we tried to put together sort of fail. And the reason they fail is because we didn't have good partners on the outside. So with this initiative, it's so important to get grassroots organizations involved. So we start the process inside the prison versus waiting till the person gets out of prison. So once those relationships are garnered, it makes it for a more smooth transition, especially when the guys and gals go back home.
It's really important when you're working in a community-based setting to really find those champions that are going to take the time to understand the program in its entirety and what it can offer the community, what it can offer our families. So once you have those few champions in the community, having them collaborate with you and start building that partnership, so then you have that greater capacity that you can then go forth in the community and really talk to different funding opportunities or funding partners, really get them involved, invite them to the graduations, let them speak with some of your participants so that they can see the value of it.
Me being a small organization in Toledo, it was very important to have that support the organization that I was doing, because we were missing that piece to where have such a broad curriculum that we were missing, so bringing that to the community was very helpful.
At Richland Correctional Institution, I think it's had a large impact as far as how the guys are starting to interact with their children. I think that's very important. The guys are starting to realize that they can be parents while they're incarcerated. And I get to watch kids who probably have never really had a good relationship with their dad develop that relationship. And the program really helps them work through the hurt. We probably labeled it a little bit as anger because it looks like it's anger, but it's really hurt. And I get to watch that firsthand, and I think that's probably one of the best benefits that I've gotten to see is them start to work through the hurt and develop those relationships with their parents that are incarcerated.
With that program, Second Chance, we are in 3 correctional institutions, while on the outside in the community, we have facilitators who facilitate with the children and family. And one of the significant things in that process is the bringing the families together, whether it's through direct contact or through the virtual component. Each institution approaches it a little bit differently, but all within the same foundation and same framework. And as a result of the project and the program, we've truly saw the behavior change, not only with the inmate, but with the children and the families.
I think it's really great what they're doing, and I'm just really hopeful that that these kids won't come in, because we know that that's part of it. Kids without parents involved sometimes come through the same system, and I'm kind of hopeful by them developing this relationship prior that they won't do that.
Our experience with the CIP learning community has been groundbreaking.
Encouraging.
Exhilarating.
Grateful.
Hopeful.
I would say phenomenal.
So that just highlights some of the conference from last year, and if our previous grantees and our current grantees of the Learning Community of Practice, could you please stand? We have several here. So we have an upcoming opportunity that we would like to share with organizations around the Ohio CIP learning community. It assists in building capacity and sustainability. It builds administrative facilitation skills and also instructs the organization on key building blocks for organization capacity. So we want to highlight, if this clicker works. Leslie, can you get that back? This opportunity is available now on our website. The application process is June 7th is the deadline. It's a 6-month commitment. You must complete one full cohort, which consists of 15 sessions of the CLFC curriculum. You will have 4 deliverables, which we provide a template for that. We try to make this a smooth transition for each grantee. It includes training and technical assistance, and you will receive funding up to $10,000. So this opportunity is available now on our website, and the deadline is June 7th. Here's our website. Applications are now open. Please make sure we do have some RFPs available on our table, so please make sure you visit the CIP table as well and apply for that opportunity. We want to continue to not only make this program grow in the institutions, but also in the communities as well.